The heaviest burdens are not the bodies we bury, but the warnings we ignore and the voices we pretend not to hear. Greetings, my night ravens. I am Lady Lenore, your guide through the shadows. Tonight's tale is drawn from a place where tragedy once left a stain, and where that stain never truly fades. Though fictional, these stories are inspired by the chilling whispers of a real location, the Villisca Axe Murder House. A place where silence creaks, where memories linger, and where the past sometimes writes back. Tonight, my dear Raven, you are there. It starts at the tail end of a June day that feels like it's been simmering on low all afternoon. The mailroom air hangs thick with the scent of lukewarm coffee, mingling with the dusty aroma of paper that's been baking in the sun. You're down to the last trays of undeliverables, the lonely pile of misaddressed envelopes, those little ghosts of forwarding requests that never quite took. The usual odds and ends of the postal world. That's when your fingers brush against something that feels different, stiff, formal somehow. The weight of the envelope in your palm speaks of quality, a substantial creaminess rarely encountered in everyday mail. It bears no stamp, no telltale postmark to whisper where it began its journey. Your fingers trace the smooth, unbroken expanse of the back flap. On the front, the ink, though softened by the passage of time, still reveals a hand that moved with both grace and intention, each letter a deliberate stroke in an elegant script. The address stands alone, stark and commanding. Reverend George Ewing Villisca, Iowa. Urgent. A prickle starts at the nape of your neck, a subtle tightening that makes the fine hairs there stand on end. Villisca. The name itself is a well-worn groove in your mind, each street a familiar path, every resident accounted for in the quiet roll call you keep. George Ewing. The name echoes in the silence of your thoughts, unfamiliar, a jarring note in the town's familiar melody. He doesn't live here. Never has. A pause. The ingrained code, the silent vows of your profession, rise like a wall, not yours to touch, another's private words. But the stark urgent seems to pulse from the cream paper, a silent alarm. And the blankness of the envelope, devoid of stamp or official mark, feels deeply, disturbingly amiss. But what if it truly is urgent and lost? A sliver of justification, cold and pragmatic, snakes through your apprehension. Your thumb finds the edge of the seal, the crisp tear, surprisingly loud in the hushed stillness of the emptying mailroom. Standing there in the emptying mailroom, the unfolded paper feels coarse beneath your fingertips, the creases sharp, like lines etched not just by folding but by time. And something else, something that sends a faint tremor through you. The small, precise script stares back, each letter perfectly formed, radiating an unsettling calm. As you read the first line, a sudden tightness grips your chest. The house is quiet. It is time. Time for what? You wonder, a dark curiosity coiling in your stomach, a knot of growing dread. The next sentence catches your eye. 8 must sleep. All of them. The word sleep seems to hang in the air, stripped of its comfort, its promise of peace. A chill crawls over your skin. 8? What kind of sleep requires 8 people? Your eyes scan to the final line. The attic knows the weight of it. The weight of what? A heavy, undefined sense of foreboding settles over you. No, this isn't right. Not at all. The words, "The attic knows the weight of it," hang in the air, conjuring an image of a confined space beneath a roof. You imagine the close, dusty air, the angled beams pressing inward. What kind of weight settles in an attic that would warrant such a stark pronouncement? It defies reason. And that very lack of sense sends a fresh wave of cold unease washing over you. A dream, perhaps? Some kind of intense, desperate plea. Or something far colder, a chilling secret confided to the silence. Your thoughts scramble, seeking a rational explanation, but the sentence clings to you, heavy and suffocating. Then, names. Your eyes snag on the faded ink. Moore. The name swims into focus, instantly conjuring Mrs. Moore's kind smile and the scent of her rose bushes. Stillinger. Mr. Stillinger's booming laugh as he takes his paper. A sudden sharp clench in your gut, like a fist squeezing tight. You know these people, their faces etched in the routine of your route flash in your mind. Familiar greetings echo in the sudden silence of your thoughts. Your chest tightens, and you draw in a ragged breath as you trace the faded ink further. At the bottom of the brittle page, your gaze snags on a chilling demand. The words seem to leap off the paper, underscored with a frantic, almost suffocated urgency. Deliver this before dawn. If not, a tremor starts in your fingers, spreading quickly up your arm. Deliver what? To whom? Your heart begins to hammer against your ribs. The blood is already speaking. A wave of nausea rolls over you, the phrase a cold, slimy thing in your mind. What does that even mean? You want to scoff, to tell yourself it's just some sick joke, a prank left in the mailbox. Your fingers tighten on the paper, the edges digging into your skin, but beneath the surface of that forced dismissal, a seed of ice takes root. Fear, cold and undeniable, it blooms in the pit of your stomach. A chilling premonition that whispers, this is far from a game. The paper in your hand now feels alien, charged with a dark, unseen energy that makes the very fibers seem to vibrate. The attic. The word from the letter echoes in your mind, resonating with a sickening, undeniable truth. A cold dread washes over you, a subtle paralysis creeping through your limbs. Your hand instinctively goes to your pocket, feeling the weight of the letter, a tangible accusation against your leg. The next day dawns, but the sunlight streaming through the post office windows feels thin and brittle, doing little to dispel the cold knot of unease in your stomach. The tiny flecks dancing in the still air seem less like stars and more like unsettling motes in a silent, waiting space. The familiar rhythm of the morning shift feels jarring, the usual greetings and requests, a fragile, almost mocking counterpoint to the dread that still clings to you like a shroud from the strange note you received last night. You spot Martha by the sorting bins, already humming a cheerful tune. Maybe I should just show her. The note, still folded carefully in your pocket, feels like a lead weight. You approach her, your voice a little too quiet. Hey, Martha, something weird happened last night. I got this note. You hold out the folded paper. She turns, her smile a little too bright for the early hour. She takes the note from your hand, her brow furrowing slightly as she unfolds it, and scans the faded ink. Her eyes linger for a moment on the chilling demand at the bottom. Deliver this before dawn. If not, the blood is already speaking. Then she looks up at you, a knowing smirk playing on her lips. Honestly, you and those spooky stories you like. This sounds exactly like something out of one of them. Probably just some silly nonsense. She hands the note back with a dismissive wave. Don't you worry your head about it. just some silly nonsense. A flush of frustration, hot and immediate, prickles your neck. She read it. She saw that, and she still doesn't understand the bad feeling I have about this. You want to argue, to insist on the chilling urgency you felt. But her easy dismissal seals your lips. The words die in your throat, leaving a bitter taste. She thinks I'm being dramatic. The cold knot in your stomach tightens, solidifying into a lonely certainty. You're on your own with this. Just then, Old Man Hemming's heavy footsteps echo across the worn floorboards as he shuffles towards your counter. He sets the folded newspaper down with a weighty thud, the headline starkly facing you. Your gaze is drawn to it against your will, a morbid fascination pulling you in. You see this? His voice is low, gravelly, the usual twinkle in his eye replaced by a dark, unsettling shadow of shock and sorrow. Terrible thing. Whole family, axed to death in Villisca. The words detonate in your mind, each syllable a brutal physical blow. Your heart seizes in your chest. Axed? A wave of nausea washes over you, stronger this time. Villisca, your town, your streets, now tainted with something unspeakable. You reach for the paper, your hand trembling visibly. The grainy photograph beneath the headline swims into focus, the edges blurring with a sudden onrush of dizziness. The world seems to narrow, the sounds of the post office fading into a muffled hum. Martha read that note, and she just brushed it off. The names: Moore, Stillinger. Your stomach plummets, a sickening lurch of dread that feels less like a coincidence and more like a confirmation of the terror that took root last night. Then, your gaze snags on a detail in the article, a brief, almost throwaway mention of the location. The family was discovered in their beds, in the upstairs rooms, including the attic. A cold dread snakes its way through you. The attic, the chilling urgency of the note, a connection you desperately don't want to make, begins to form in the darkest corners of your mind. I couldn't have stopped it, you tell yourself, a desperate mantra you repeat in the hollow echo chamber of your mind. Would anyone have believed me? A crazy letter? What could I have possibly done? The word urgent, though, a furious scratch of ink on the envelope you still feel pressed against your leg, replays behind your eyelids, a relentless accusation. A constant, nagging unease festers within you, a deep, unhealing wound that throbs with the unspoken what if. Your fingers twitch, the phantom sensation of the rough paper still lingering from when Martha so casually dismissed it. You don't need to see the words again. They're etched into the very fabric of your thoughts, a dark brand on your consciousness. Unseen by any other eyes, still tucked away in your pocket, a secret weight against your thigh. But not forgotten by me, not for a single breath since I first held it. A heavy cloak of guilt, thick and suffocating, settles over you, each thought labored, each breath tainted with the poison of what might have been. Night offers no escape. The moment your head hits the pillow, the familiar scent of your linens fades, replaced by a cloying, musty odor you can't place. You're no longer in your bed. Instead, a suffocating blackness descends, a swift, disorienting pull that drags you down into a cramped, airless space. Your senses reel, yet a primal unease settles deep in your bones, a sense of wrongness that chills you despite the dream's oppressive warmth. You find yourself standing in an attic. Moonlight, pale and thin, spills through two small, arched windows choked with cobwebs, illuminating the stagnant air thick with dust motes dancing like disturbed spirits. The wooden rafters loom sharply above, pressing in like the skeletal fingers of some unseen entity. The silence here is absolute, pressing against your eardrums, amplifying the frantic thump of your own heart. In the dim moonlight, a small, leather-bound diary lies open on a dusty trunk, its pages brittle and yellowed. An unseen compulsion draws you closer, and your eyes fix on a passage scrawled in precise, elegant handwriting. The Lord has commanded it. The house is unclean. 8 must be cleansed in their sleep. The high place knows the burden of their sin. A jolt, sharp and cold, shoots through you. The handwriting, it's the same elegant script as the letter. As you stare at the chilling words, a gaunt, shadowy figure begins to coalesce in the far corner of the attic, its form shifting and indistinct, yet radiating a palpable sense of malevolent intent. A silent, unholy presence. A scream lodges in your throat, a silent terror that grips you with icy talons. The sheer, unbearable tension snaps, and your mind recoils. You jolt awake, gasping for air, your body slick with a cold, clammy sweat. The Lord has commanded it. The unclean house, that figure, the handwriting. Your heart hammers a frantic, uneven rhythm against your ribs, the lingering terror of the dream clinging to you like a shroud. Dust. The gritty taste coats your tongue, dry and foul, and your fingernails. You look at them, your hands trembling uncontrollably. They are caked with a fine gray grit. How? Your mind races, the dream's disturbing phrases echoing in your thoughts, intertwining with the chilling words of the letter. It wasn't just a dream. You stumble out of bed, the sticky remnants of the nightmare clinging to you like invisible cobwebs, a lingering chill that no amount of blankets could dispel. Your heart continues its frantic tattoo against the heavy silence of your room, each beat a terrified echo of the unholy presence you felt in that dream attic. A faint, sickly light seems to emanate from your desk in the corner, a pale, unsettling glow that pierces the darkness. The letter. You move towards it, your bare feet soundless on the cool wooden floor, each step feeling strangely detached. And there it is, on your desk. It lies exactly where you left it, the single page still open, revealing the neatly penned words that have haunted your waking hours, and now your dreams. You stare at the elegant script, a chilling familiarity now clinging to each precise curve and line. It's the same hand that wrote of a divine command, of cleansing sleep, in that horrifying dream diary. The same hand that wrote the chilling words you now know preceded a massacre. A fresh wave of profound dread washes over you, solidifying into a terrifying certainty. This isn't just a strange note, it's a tangible link to a mind steeped in delusion and unimaginable violence. A fresh wave of profound dread washes over you, colder and more insistent than the lingering residue of the nightmare. It's not just fear, it's a creeping wrongness that makes the fine hairs on your arms stand on end, a subtle crawling sensation beneath your skin. The edges of the paper before you aren't just old, they're blackened, brittle, flaking inward as if consumed by a silent, unseen fire. A faint, biting scent stings your nostrils, burnt ash mixed with a sharp, metallic tang that makes you instinctively draw back. Smoke? But the air is still. You didn't light a match. You haven't even touched the letter since you carefully placed it on the desk. Yet your hands, you stare at them, a growing knot of dread tightening in your chest. Your skin is smeared with dark gray smudges, fine particles clinging to the delicate lines of your palms. Ash. You lift the charred edges of the paper, a tremor running through your arms so violent you can barely keep it steady. It's burning, but it's not. And then you see it. Beneath the envelope, stark against the polished wood of your desk, a new line of handwriting has appeared. The ink is a raw, stark black, an urgent scrawl that seems to bleed into the pale wood as if etched in haste with a soot-stained finger. Your chest constricts, a band of icy pressure tightening around your lungs as your eyes trace the chilling, accusatory words. You were supposed to deliver it. Let me leave you with this, my ravens. Some stories don't end with a scream. They end with silence. A silence that remembers. A silence that waits. He read a letter that was never meant for him, and in doing so, became part of a message still being written. So I ask you, dear Raven, if a warning found its way to your hands, would you read it? Would you deliver it? Or would you pretend you never saw it at all? This is Lady Lenore, guiding you back to the light, if only for a moment. Sleep well, my children of the dark. And if you wish to return to the shadows again, strike the like button, subscribe, and let the bell guide your way back. And tell me, have you ever received something you were never meant to open? Leave your confession in the comments below.